Hello and welcome. We're on that road. I want to call it to exit, to understand choice points and ingredients that take us out. And today I want to share with you how to exit separation. I'm not talking about the separation of couples, of friends, I'm not referring to that. I'm actually referring to the separation from the divine, God, source, oneness, harmony, whatever resonates with you. So separation could be seen as one of the most difficult things that humanity suffers from. And according to the wisdom and the traditions, it actually happened about 5,000 years ago when we shifted from the Taurian into the Aryan age. And it was not a bad thing, and it still is not. But the Aries energy wanted to be separated from God and in a way make it on their own. But of course that separation left within us a longing, a hunger. Something was missing. And over all these thousands of years, we have created a lot of coping mechanisms, including fear, fight, flight, fortify, fawn, in order to cover that loss, that connection, that connectedness. And so healing, separation, is for your own soul in this life, the generational, the lineage, but separation is also a very, very big problem. Oh, I'm using the word problem, and I really don't really like problem. It is an obstacle for our evolutionary leap. It holds us back from truly evolving, from shifting from Homo luminous into Homo luminous, from Homo sapiens. So once we understand how to heal separation, we truly have an opportunity to evolve. If you have listened to my other video about exiting suffering, you already know that one part is truly the dimension that you live in, the frequency on which you operate. So the denser the dimension and the frequencies are in which you live, 3D, whatever you want to call it, the more difficult it is to actually heal separation or step through the veil of separation, through the illusion of separation. We know from many traditions, like even Native Americans, including South American traditions, that, for instance, in Peru, they say that only the Western people, they went out of paradise. The Peruvian Indians, they always stayed there. And many other traditional people, shamans and natives, they actually say that. They never left paradise. So one of these ingredients and choice points is definitely knowing that we could just go back in. And what is one of these points that really takes us out of that oneness, out of that wholeness with the divine, with God, with source, universe, whatever name is most resonating in your heart, cosmic heart, also good, is actually fear. Fear and judgment, and fear of judgment. As long as we are one with the divine, we don't really live in fear. And we live in harmony. We don't need to harm, and we are not afraid of being harmed. And the other one is the judgment, of course, with being thrown out of paradise, as we have endless records of in many religious and spiritual traditions. was a judgment. So Adam did the wrong thing, you know. He was tempted by Eve, and he took that apple. And as I said, a lot of indigenous found their own story about that. That was the fruit of knowledge, and of course humanity had to make this experience. And there was also a fruit of wisdom. And that fruit of wisdom obviously kept us in harmony, kept us together, kept us in oneness and unity. So these two, the judgment and the fear, and the coping mechanisms that go with fear, are the two main points that make us live in separation. So what can you do about it? How can we shift fear? There's many, many different ways. It's surely not done in a couple of minutes of a video. But in general, to shift fear is truly coming into a relationship. The physical body is a good place to start. When we don't feel fear, when something hurts and aches, when something doesn't move the way we like it, or anything like that, the body is a good way to step out of fear. You can ask your body, hey, what's happening for you? I'm not saying if you are seriously ill not to go to a doctor at a hospital. I didn't mean that. But if you have some kind of symptom, it's always good to observe. Is it staying? Is it returning? Ask the questions. What's the message? This physical body is it is far more intelligent than our left brain that can comprehend. So when we come into a new relationship with the body, we lose a lot of fear. So this is one thing. The second part, to lose fear. And I don't mean that you run in open knives. I don't mean that. But fear is when your mind constantly goes in all the things that could possibly happen and could be possibly dangerous. I have this little joke here with a native, and he can't understand that I walk barefoot. What happens if these ants bite you, bullet ants, and then you have 24 hours of pain? What happens if a snake bites you? And they don't. If I see one of these bullet ants, I give it its way and I just go another way. When I walk on the grass, mani it's called here, it's a special kind of grass, I'm in harmony with earth. I've not seen many serpents. It doesn't mean that I walk with closed eyes and I do all kind of stupid things, but I walk consciously and in harmony. And so this is part of stepping out of fear. Again, it doesn't mean you run into open knives. It doesn't mean that you do things that definitely could harm you. Separation is in harmony. And so it is not all that hard. It takes choice, it takes a lot of effort, it takes courage. So some of the items are similar to what we have in any of these lower frequencies and dimensional experiences that we as Homo sapiens and humanity have been experiencing here on planet Earth, but we don't need to continue. So as you exit separation, you're breaking a lot of old conditions. You're breaking a lot of myth. And yes, that bombshell is absolutely amazing. So judgment and duality is really another thing. And when you learn to observe yourself, the way you're looking, your lenses, when everything is about, is this right or wrong, is this good or bad? Not only that you are trapped in a lower ethical development. This is Kohlberg stuff. Yes, I used to teach that, but it is important right now as we are connecting the whole thing. Or if it's really that ability to say goodbye to that. It needs to be broken. You might call it a mindset, you call it belief system, it doesn't matter. But what if you can really look at the world in a non-dual way? What if it doesn't matter if something is right or wrong or good or bad? These are limitations of the right brain in which we have lived, obviously, for thousands of years. But it doesn't need to be that way. So once you are ready to relate, once you are ready to step again into that wholeness, into that oneness, into this harmony of the cosmos, of the earth, of life, then this all changes. There's one last piece that I want to share with you about the ingredients that has to do with fear, the fear of endings. It is said that before the Aryan Age, when we were living in the Taurian Age, there was a very high worship, a very high reference for women and the divine feminine that we just left. But of course, as we left that divine feminine, we also left the understanding that death is not the end. So for thousands of years, we feel that there is a final, and that is the physical death, not connected, separated from our own light, from our own soul, from our own infinite self. So when we start understanding that after death comes rebirth, whether that is in a physical form or another, when we understand that it simply means that the spirit, the soul, whatever you want to call it, is exiting this physical body that then no longer exists, then we also no longer separated. So I hope it all makes a little bit of sense. For some of you, you are possibly already very advanced in this. And for some of you, that might be new. So, of course, I'm very curious to hear about this. It gets a bit windy here, and we don't want the phone falling on me or on something else. So I would bring you another sound bridge, so you can get a little bit of sense about these choice points, ingredients out of separation. The judgment and breaking through that illusion of judgment, and the fear. And also the fear of endings, the fear of death. So I'm inviting you with the spiral flute, perfect metaphorical symbol here, to build a bridge for you, a sound bridge, to come back into unity. And you may want to imagine this sound bridge takes you back into paradise, one with the divine, God, source, universe, whatever is resonating in your heart. So where did the sound bridge take you? Are you getting a glimpse of what it is like to be fully united with all that you are, and with God, with Source, with the universe? Yes, it starts within, and yes, we all can. So let me know where the sound bridge took you, how the words find a way into your heart, as the heart is the ultimate bridge and key to evolve, to ascend, and to be part of this new dimensions as they are still unfolding. It's not just from the third to the fifth. It's much more than that. Excited to be here with you, and excited to hear where you are at. From my heart to yours.